Hello to our live people. I think a video is supposed to be playing.
Hello.
Well, apparently it's not going to. So
It did, I think. I think I saw the video in there.
Oh, did you? I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, hello to the Roboticon and Amrock and First Looks families. It's great to see everybody. We are back with another great conversation with Dean Kamen, who of course is the founder of First, and a whole bunch more. The thing that we saw today come across the news was some information about the iBot, which is something that I know Dean loves to talk about, and we'll have conversations on that. But for our younger people, the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine is likely something that you've encountered out in your travels. Even the guys on Fox 13 News yesterday were like, they went, "Oh, wait, the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine?" It's like, yeah. Oh, that's cool. So, yeah, we're very excited about this. Last week, the conversation was questions from students. And this week, we're going to get the opportunity to talk about kind of life after First, and pretty excited about that.
Which is the whole point of First, right? I mean, is to prepare, students, youth, for our future, and for being part of our future, and for helping build our future with the knowledge they gain while they're involved in First programs. We started this series because Dean has recently been inducted into the Florida Inventors Hall of Fame, which is part of the high-tech corridor community, and recognizes the achievements of people with connections in Florida. And Dean's influence in growing these STEM programs throughout the state has been extremely powerful and important. It inspired the development of Amrock Fab Lab, through which we hope to grow more programs as well. So we're really excited about this particular conversation, because we focus a lot on what the kids do while they're in First, right? The things that they learn, the teamwork skills, the communication skills, design, programming, all these different things, presentation skills, business plan development.
Yeah.
And so, the question I don't think we often talk enough about, what do you do with it afterwards? I mean, there've been a lot of series about, the alumni and featuring different alumni, but hearing from the people who developed this program, and particularly Dean, on, it was developed specifically to create a community of people who have the skills we need to go into the future. And,
Sure.
I'm really excited about this conversation, and I'm so grateful to Dean for joining us to do it.
For sure. And, we'll talk about it, but one of my favorite things that he says is it's the only high school sport that anybody can go pro from. So it's,
and we're talking about the pro part. So
absolutely. So, we've got Danielle, who's joining me.
Hi, everyone.
It's good to be back. We haven't done anything truly First Looks in way too long, with the Orlando Regional going away and Roboticon being all virtual. So it's good to be doing something First Looks again. And then, of course, we've got Dean Kamen. We've done a bit of an intro on you already. And I would imagine that a lot of our viewers obviously already know who you are, but I'll let you do a little intro on yourself.
And I'll hop out. I mean, you guys take it from here. Congratulations. Thank you again, and congratulations on the Florida Inventors Hall of Fame induction. We'll talk some more. I know your time is precious, so I'm going to hop out. You guys have it, and thank you again. I'll be back towards the end.
All right.
Thanks, Terry.
So Dean, go ahead and introduce yourself for those who may not know who you are.
My name is Dean Kamen. I'm the founder of First. I was born at a young age. When I was 5 years old, I ran away with the circus. They made me bring it back. After that, I got really excited about technology, realizing that the laws of physics are just beautiful and amazing, and the power of applying them in engineering allows you to do exciting things. And besides getting to do exciting things with technology, it allows you to make some of those things things that'll help people live better lives, whether it's insulin pumps for people with diabetes, or dialysis machines, or stents, or iBots to help the disabled, or making clean water out of stuff that would otherwise kill you. There's just no limit to the really incredible things that technology can do to improve lives when it's properly applied. And I decided, more than 30 years ago, I've got to convince more kids, particularly women and minorities, that our culture makes those people think, oh, life is only going to be fun and exciting if you're in the world of sports or in the world of entertainment. But I wanted to show all kids everywhere that if they spend a little time developing that muscle hanging between their ears, they have unlimited opportunities for great careers. They can really create a future that they'll be proud of. And FIRST is proof of that. And I think Danielle is absolutely living proof of that. So I'll shut up and let her take over.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I think that your mission has been very successful thus far. I mean, yeah, I'm an alumni with FIRST. I was in FIRST Tech Challenge. And now I'm a software engineer with Lockheed Martin. So I think that this program has been very beneficial. I mean, especially to me, and there's so many different outlets that you can go with this. I mean, I know Scott's like working in journalism right now and a software engineer, and like there's just so many different outlets with like business and everything. So I can definitely contest to that.
And we talk to students. One of the things that we do in almost all of our interviews is we ask the students a couple of questions. What are you planning to do after you graduate? And how did FIRST get you to there? And invariably, FIRST had some major turning point in these kids' plans. They wanted to be, something more traditional for a kid to want to be when they grow up. And by the time we're talking to them, oftentimes high school, but not necessarily. We've talked to, Lego League teams. So we've talked to elementary, middle school students, and invariably they've all pivoted one way or another, sometimes to business. One of our co-hosts, Marissa, pivoted to business because of her experience with FIRST. So, we never know how it's going to go, but FIRST always has a hand in it. So before we get into life after FIRST, which is why we're here, we've already been getting questions that we have to address what happened today. The game names were officially announced. It certainly seems like this next season is transportation based, and there's a lot of conversation about what the games are going to be. And I love that. I love that you guys give the names early as like a tease and make them think, which is what it's all about, right?
And it's a buildup of excitement, like, for sure.
And by the way, I think transportation is just so broad-based in what technologies it touches. It's plain exciting. I mean, transportation could be spaceships. Let's go to another galaxy, or at least maybe another planet. Transportation is electric vehicles that can be clean and efficient and high performance, and yet not terrible for our environment. Transportation today, there was a video that came out about a piece of transportation I've been working on for decades, the iBot, to help people that have disabilities that don't allow them to walk or climb a flight of stairs, to allow those people to transport themselves anywhere they want with dignity and access. But transportation these days combines hardware, software, systems, controls, energy, environmental issues, structural issues, societal issues, policy issues. Transportation is one of the largest industries on this planet. So getting kids to think about transportation and all of its issues and all of its opportunities, and no pun intended, but where transportation is going to take us is going to be remarkable, even in the very near future.
For sure. So So the season is called First Forward. And by the way, I love the graphics for this next season. For first robotics competition, and I know you're not going to tell us anything. I'm fine with that. But we're
Top
still
secret.
gonna get the comments going on the video. So for first robotics competition, it's called Rapid React, and there's definitely a sphere in rapid motion and an airplane or possibly a shuttle. So you definitely addressed some of that. For first tech challenge, it's called Freight Frenzy, which that one sounds like a lot of fun. And knowing first tech challenge, I think we've all got some ideas in our head what that might look like. And then for first Lego League, it's Cargo Connect, and the logo has both an airplane and a semi truck. So that'll be fun to see in action. We're super excited. So definitely we want people to comment on what you think the games are going to be, and we're not going to know any more than you do. So so with that, after first, obviously there's lots of paths that can be taken, right? Like we said, some people go into engineering. Marissa went into business because of first. So was all of that part of the plan originally?
So I've been saying since the day we started first, it's not about the robots. It's never been about the robots. I've said again, over and over again, no pun intended, a robot is just a vehicle to bring the kids to an exciting opportunity to look at all aspects of the world of science, technology, engineering, math. And I've said over and over again, we are not using kids to build robots. We're using robots to build kids. We want to build kids with self-respect, with self-confidence, with the ability to learn how to work with each other, to compete hard on the field, but still be gracious as they support each other and learn from each other. First has always been about giving kids the opportunity to see what the world could be like for them if they focus while they're still young on developing an understanding of the world around them from a technology point of view, from a mathematical point of view. And if these kids at a young age develop a passion to really understand the science, the physics, the mathematics, that are the rules of the universe, they'll have a much fuller life. And I think if you try to force it into them by read that chapter, take that quiz, memorize that formula, they're not going to get there any more than if kids were forced to go play this sport or that sport and get graded on it. But when you give kids the opportunity to participate and have fun with each other in an environment like a sport, where you don't end the year with quizzes and tests and final exams, you end the year with double elimination tournaments and school bands and cheerleaders and mascots and cheering squads. Well, we said, look, if you can just show kids that side of the opportunities for those, again, particularly women and minorities that have been so biased to think science and technology, it's dull, it's frustrating, it's boring, it's only for those geeky guys. I think from day one, we've never changed the mission. Look at our name. The word education isn't in our name. I called it first for a couple of reasons. I've never seen kids walk into a sporting competition running around cheering, I want to be second. And I said, look, we'll call ourselves first because it's about competition, being first. But look what the name means: for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. If we could be for the inspiration and the recognition of science and technology, we will change kids' attitudes, which will change where they put their heart and their soul, and it'll change where they point themselves, hopefully to exciting careers that they might never have been aware of and never been available because they weren't properly prepared. We're giving kids that opportunity to prepare themselves for a great future by showing them how much fun tech can be. That was the original purpose. It hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, and speaking for myself, I mean, I've never been a test taker. I've never been one to like memorize things in school. I started first. I was introduced to it through some members of my tennis team, and they showed me their team. They were like, "Hey, like we're on Team Duct Tape. Do you want to like find out more?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Honestly, I think school like does its best, but I don't think I would have been a software engineer if it wasn't for FIRST.
And you, I'm happy to say, are one proof among now many hundreds of thousands of kids that are proof that given the right opportunity, kids will rise to the occasion. They will develop the skills. They will learn how to respect each other, communicate with each other. They will do all the things we were hoping they would end up doing if they were put in the right environment and they were exposed to the kinds of mentors that we've been able to attract and retain from industry and from government and from universities. When you look at the community of FIRST, the parents, the teachers, the mentors, the sponsors, the volunteers, the extraordinary thing about FIRST is everybody that touches it puts way more into it than they ever thought they need to, but they never leave because they all get way more out of it.
We're all passionate.
Yeah. I mean, when I called it FIRST, I really thought it's because we need to make sure that we would inspire these kids to recognize what they got to do with their lives. It didn't occur to me until a couple of years into it that, in fact, in many cases, it is the kids that are inspiring the mentors, the parents, and the teachers to do what we hope they'll do. And so the kids keep the mentors and the sponsors and the parents coming. They keep the kids coming. And collectively, we just keep growing. And our message keeps getting louder. And Danielle, again, I want to keep thanking you for being involved because ultimately, the best growth providers we have are the alums, the ones that are the living proof of it was fun, it was important, it did give them a whole new perspective. And the more you can spread that among now the kids just coming behind you, that they believe you more than they believe me. And you're a lot closer in every way. So, and there's a lot more of you than there are of me. So thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for being willing to stay involved after you're no longer on the team. I hope we'll see you for a very, very long time as a role model, a mentor, etc.
Well, I need to thank you, and I also want to remind you, this is like a big full circle right here, that the three of us on this screen. I mean, Scott was my mentor when I was on Team Duct Tape, and he was also an alumni with FIRST. So he is one of the people that helped inspire me to be a software engineer. So it all comes really big full circle. You are an alumni, you come up, you're a mentor, you inspire kids, and then it's just one big circle from there. So,
and that's a big part of the life after FIRST, right? Because there really isn't a life after FIRST, because once you're in for life, and we've all joked about that for decades. And whether it be volunteering, judging, referees, coaches, mentors, there's plenty of opportunity. The First Vista program, there's plenty of opportunity for people to stay involved after they graduate.
Yep. And the good news, by the way, the data is compelling. The kids that graduate from FIRST stay with us for a long time. And then they go to, whether they're at universities and they help come back as mentors, whether they go into industry and they come back as mentors and sponsors. We have an incredibly strong bond with all the kids that have come through FIRST. And as I say to some of the real old timers that have been with us now since we started for 30 years, they might have retired from their company, their own kids graduated, but they're back every year. And I tell them, there is no exit strategy. Once you're part of FIRST, you're part of FIRST forever.
For sure. And, I wasn't there for the initial season, but I think I joined in 96. So I've been around for the majority of it. And yeah, there's no way out for sure. which sounds a little more ominous than it is, because we don't want out. You know, there's so many of us who have been around for a long time. At the Orlando Regional, I think it was the 25th, there was a whole thing where they had people stand up who were alumni and then sit down at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I definitely remember before the Orlando Regional. I remember when we had the what is now the championship at in the parking lot of Epcot.
And that, I remember that as vividly as if it was yesterday. And Disney and everybody at Disney is not only still with us, but think about that. Who's our big sponsor over the last couple of years, helping us promote to the world who we are? Disney, Star Wars, Mark Hamill. I mean, think about how close we've stayed, even with giants in the world of media and entertainment, like Disney. Yeah. Not even they have an exit strategy.
Yeah, I mean, there's an executive of the company on the Orlando advisory committee. So I mean, once people are in first, we're in first, and that's a good thing, because after you've graduated from high school or even college, you know, there's that networking ability to talk to other past students, to talk to, you know, alumni that are further out, former team sponsors, all potentially as a way to find a career in your chosen field post-graduation, right?
That's always been part of it. And by the way, not only is the core group each year adding to our pyramid, but just think of how many programs we've added. We started with FIRST Robotics, mostly high school. And then we jumped down and said, no, we got to get the pipeline full. We went to FIRST Lego League. You know, if you're going to have baseball, you better have Little League. Well, we better have not Little League, we better have FIRST Lego League. And then we realized it might be too big a jump. And we want to make it more scalable. So we added in the middle, FIRST Tech Challenge. And now we've added FIRST Lego League Junior for the really little kids. And you think of how many universities participate. So FIRST continues to try to reach all the sectors of our population, of our whole community, and even our global community. We have teams in nearly every country in the world. So I'm very proud of how far it's come, but I'm very anxious for it to go much further, much faster, because Danielle, there's a lot of young kids that didn't get the opportunity you got, and they may really have a future that's much more limited than yours was because they haven't had this opportunity. So you got to help us get it out there. I mean, you know, one of the things that the pandemic has shown us, it put a spotlight on just how much disparity there is in our country, ultimately between kids that have access to education and technology and kids that don't. And so it's imperative that we make FIRST more available to more kids more quickly.
And obviously, we know the organization has been growing rapidly. I mean, several of your big initiatives to help with that have come to fruition just in the last year. You know, the coin, for example, you've been working on for years.
Do you mean
Very nice.
So think about it.
I did not know he had that in his pocket, everybody, just so you know.
It's always,
he's prepared.
It's always very close to my heart. But think about this. It took 30 years to finally get this coin. But this coin is pretty special. Besides being a solid silver dollar, they tell me, depending on the fluctuating price of silver these days, the silver alone in this actual real pure silver dollar is valued at somewhere between 16 and 20 some odd dollars. But this coin, besides having the image of Krista McCullough a woman, a teacher, somebody who sadly gave her life in the quest of advancing science and education, who made that famous statement, "I touch the future, I teach." That same Krista McCullough from New Hampshire is not only on the front of this coin, but when you turn to the back of it, what's extraordinary about this actual US coin, it's $1. On the back of it, it not only has her famous statement, it says, "I touch the future, I teach." And right below that, it has the FIRST logo and the name FIRST on a US coin. That's how much I think recognition and frankly prestige FIRST was able to present to the United States government, to the Department of the Treasury. We got an overwhelming number of votes in the Senate to make this commemorative coin and in the House of Representatives to make this coin. And they've only made 40 some odd of them in the couple of hundred years this country's been around. And to have a coin that has FIRST on it, to have a coin where all the proceeds over and above the cost of doing it go to FIRST to help us grow is extraordinary. And by the way, I would urge everybody that's listening to this to go either to the FIRST website where you can get them, or go to the United States Mint website and get some of these coins. Give one to a teacher. Every team should have these as very special recognition and gifts. Every sponsor that you appreciate should get one. But this coin should be really treasured as a symbol of the capability of FIRST to change lives and to be recognized so uniquely that we're on a piece of United States currency. So thank you for bringing that up.
That's incredibly special. I'm so happy that you were able to share that.
Do you have one?
I don't have one yet, but I'm gonna get one now.
you better get the people at that little place, Lockheed. They're here to help defend and protect our country. That's mostly what they do. Well, the best way to protect our country is to make sure we have a generation of kids with world-class capability and vision and courage. And we should be recognizing teachers, and we should be recognizing FIRST, and go out and do that. Besides, get one because they're beautiful. And it's a woman and it's a teacher, and you should identify with it, and you should help us spread the word.
For sure. I'm definitely going to be looking that up right after this interview.
Thank you.
They're super cool. And you put a lot of work, a lot of energy into making that happen. So,
well, it's incredible. When we started, people said to me, "Of course you'd want a commemorative coin. What organization wouldn't want their name on a piece of currency?" But Dean, there are hundreds of companies, hundreds of individuals, hundreds of organizations that want it, that think they deserve it. You'll never get it. I was told that 30 years ago. But whenever I'm told that could never happen, I always hear that was a definite maybe. And we went back year after year. And finally, after 30 years, I think, as I said, with the help of some extraordinary people in the Senate and in the Congress that recognized how unique and how impactful FIRST could be, especially if we can get it properly recognized and get it into every school. They just said, "We're going to help you make a United States commemorative silver dollar dedicated to FIRST." And they did it.
It's definitely impressive. And obviously you said that the proceeds are going into FIRST, and
yep.
And we're here to talk about life after FIRST, and we've talked about volunteering and staying within the FIRST organization, but college is another big step post FIRST that you've mentioned, and there's a lot of relationships there, right? Relationships with colleges and scholarships available.
Yeah, think about this. Last year, actually the last year, just before we had to cancel that whole season of events, we if you walk down college scholarship row at the championships, we had pretty much every prestigious tech school you can imagine with their booth. They were doing the same kind of scouting that the football coach would do. They want the best and brightest committed kids. And we made available more than $80 million in scholarships. And when you look at some of the best technical schools in this country, they were all there. They were all fighting over these kids. And I think it's not appropriate to share the numbers, the percentages. But if you look at some of the most prestigious technical schools in this country, and you now ask them, what percentage of your freshman kids this year that you admitted, even the big schools that say, we only admit one out of, God knows, they have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of applicants. You ask them, what percentage of your freshmen are alums of FIRST? The numbers are staggering. And it proves that the universities know what they're looking for. And they're looking for kids from FIRST.
And, you know, at that point, and this has been a topic that's been going around in our community a lot lately, has been, where does FIRST fit into applications, right? Obviously, in applying for college, it should be big and bold and maybe red, so that everybody sees it. That sarcasm, don't actually do that. But definitely
do that.
It definitely needs to be prominently featured on a college application. And you know, there's always a lot of questions after college. What part of FIRST goes into a job app?
Yeah, why did you ask me of the 800 or so engineers I have here at DEKA, and I like to get the best of the best. Why did you ask me what percentage of all the new young engineers we hire have come through FIRST? And the answer is a huge, very, very disproportionately huge number. And it's not because we're playing favorites. It's because we know if kids as early as when they were in middle school or high school got involved in FIRST, and they started working with technology and embracing technology and learning how to work with each other on teams. And then they bond with each other. And you get young people out of engineering school, and they come and they're very nervous, and they're at the interview, and you ask them what they've done. And somehow FIRST comes up, and they light up, and they talk about the great things they did and the great relationships they created and what they've been doing since, and why they go back and still help the schools, the high schools that they were from, or they help bring new schools in from wherever they were at college. And that's a very, very powerful fact. And we hire a lot of young people. And the fact is, if they've been on FIRST teams, it's a pretty good bet that they're going to be the kind of people we want.
And you made a really good point as well. I think that, like, those of us who were a part of FIRST when we were younger, we have a lot in common with each other. I mean, it brings a lot of us together when we've been in different events in the past with different teams from around the world. We all have that one thing in common, that we were all part of FIRST, and it's a conversation starter. I mean, it's something that's very easy to start, and I would assume in job interviews as well.
It absolutely, and you know, it's taken for granted that people use their college connections, not in an unfair way, but as a way to network. And, you know, frankly, as I've said to many kids that ask me, where should I go to college? And I say, you know, it almost doesn't matter. They all have the same textbooks. They all teach the same laws of physics, and mathematics is the same everywhere. Just make sure you go to a college where the environment will not be a distraction from your education, but will inspire you to do more. Some kids should go to schools with really large classes and a really big campus, or maybe in an urban environment, because that's what they need. Others should go to small colleges, very specialized, where they get very individual small classes they need. But my answer is the same to all of these kids. If you spend your time at college partying and drinking and doing what kids sometimes do when they get away from mom and dad for the first few years. I don't care what college you went to. You're probably not going to learn a whole lot. And if you really stay disciplined and work hard, you're going to be really smart. But you should carry with you the connections and the networks that the whole college and university system delivers. And I say now that FIRST has gotten so big and widespread, you know what? There may be connections you'll have as you go for that job interview at one company or another to somebody at that company that went to your college, and you'll bond with them at that interview. But there's lots and lots of those colleges. The probability you'll meet somebody that's an alum of the one you just left, not that high. But at this point, the probability you'll meet somebody in that company, like Lockheed, that was part of a FIRST team, it's almost a guarantee at this point. And so I tell all the kids now, you got a better shot at bonding with the alums of all the FIRST teams than of any one of the colleges. So I think the whole FIRST community is the superset of which each of the colleges is a subset. And so again, I think the kids that come through FIRST can give a lot, but they can gain a lot by staying closely associated with FIRST and helping us build our network.
For sure. I know when I was doing hiring, there was a FIRST something in my office. I don't remember. There's always something with the logo on it in my possession, and it started conversations with people who were applying, and that was always a good thing. And then now that I've changed what I'm doing day to day, one of the first things I discovered in our organization was there were a ton of people who would have been on FIRST teams at some point in their past.
Yep.
There is one thing I definitely wanted to touch up on while we had you on the show. Terry was talking a little bit earlier about how one of your superpowers is like the endless curiosity that you have. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about that and how that's transitioned throughout your life and how you can help spark that with people that are currently with FIRST or life after FIRST. How do you keep that curiosity and that innovation going?
Well, again, I think, and this is not to bash school, I think school is so efficient at loading you up with what are literally the results of thousands of years of human advancement. You know, you learn Pythagoras, we learn geometry that was discovered or invented by people more than 2,000 years ago. You learn, Newton's laws. Well, Newton died, a couple of 400 years ago. You learn, you're standing on the shoulders of the intellectual giants of all time, and it's all put into books in an organized way. If you didn't start by having access to all of that, nobody would be such a genius that they could raise the bar and create the technologies that are being created every day. So I love the fact that school is there to give you all the background, but learning everything that's already known and looking at the answers to every question in that book, because they're printed in the back of the book, is not what education is really about. Education is to give you the tools, but it's to give you the tools to build things that have never been done before, to go places that have never been visited before. You can learn how to play football or basketball, but if the answer was who's going to win tomorrow's game was already determined and it's in the back of the book and it wouldn't be exciting, nobody would want to go do sports. Life is about pushing the limits, doing new things, going to places nobody's ever been, discovering for yourself something. Maybe in 100 years, somebody's going to be reading Danielle's laws on some new horizon. And so I think curiosity empowered by knowledge and the tools that we have, the language of mathematics and the tools of engineering, the curiosity is what takes all of those tools and allows us to go out and raise the bar and create a new future. And to me, the most exciting thing in life is to create new things. You don't know what they'll be. You do know that you'll try very hard, and most of the time you'll fail. But even the failure, as long as nobody gets hurt, as long as you can pick yourself up and keep going, even the failure is a learning experience. It's a humbling experience. It's a part of life, and that's what we all, I think, we want to fail as quickly and painlessly as possible in the pursuit of not failing and succeeding and moving on. And again, FIRST is an example of how we do that.
For sure. So we know, well, we know off camera that your company is hiring, and obviously now is the time that a lot of companies are hiring. You know, the job market's opening up quick right now, and people are going to be looking for jobs. When people come to you, what do you look for personally in a potential engineer or a potential employee? What's the thing other than a FIRST hat that that stands out for you when you're hiring?
Well, a FIRST hat sort of already identifies them in some ways as somebody we should be interested in. It identifies them as somebody that really has a passion for technology, somebody that wants to work with others to make meaningful, positive change in the world, shares our philosophy of gracious professionalism. But really, when we go to hire young people these days, we're not that interested in what particular engineering course they might have done well in or not done well in, because the technology is changing so quickly. Any specific skill set a young person has today is going to become obsolete pretty soon. We look mostly for whether that person is really passionate, is really smart, is really intellectually honest about how we go about doing things, and a smart, passionate person that shares our vision and knows how to communicate and cooperate well with the people around them. We bring them on. And if there's a skill set that they need to develop, they'll develop it while they're here by working with other smart people.
Yeah, one of the things we used to say at our old software company was that one of the things that engineers do in their free time is they engineer, programmers program. And you can teach somebody who learned JavaScript, you can teach them C#, but you can't teach somebody after you've hired them to be passionate about the thing.
That's exactly right. We're looking for smart, honest, passionate people. Frankly, we work on really hard problems, and we work on medical things that in many cases take many, many years to finish. And a lot of young people now want to take the quick road to some, frankly, I think, silly product that they might make a lot of money if that's what they're trying to do. They might quickly make some product and make a lot of noise with it. You know what? Life, to me, is too short to waste your time solving problems that aren't important. So we look for young people that, by whatever means, whether it was their influence of their parents or their community, we're looking for young people that really believe they should work hard at the difficult problems that, as we solve them, will make the world a better place for a lot of people. And if you look at all the projects we do here at DEKA, people say, you work on so many different kinds of things. I say, no, I don't. I only work on one kind of thing. Important problems that haven't been solved, that are probably not going to be solved by conventional incremental work done by other organizations. We want to work on really big problems and make really disruptive new solutions to those old problems. And I need really smart, really courageous, really passionate people to help me do it.
Well, I was looking at the jobs that are currently listed for DEKA, and you are looking for quite a number of smart and dedicated and passionate people.
And that's not even the half of it. I don't think we have a very, very small HR department, and I don't think we spend a lot of time updating our site for that. I would say whatever it says on that site, let me make it simple. If you're a really smart young engineer and you want to work hard with really smart people solving really important problems, we need you. And right now I have openings for at least 100 people. Some at the very front end of let's come up with a new concept. Some with, hey, we've got to go make 1 million of these things. Do you have background and experience and passion to do manufacturing engineering, quality engineering? I mean, we need people across the entire gamut of, I got an idea to, this thing better work because it's part of a life support system, and we got to make a lot of them, and we got to make them fast, and we got to make high quality, and we got to make them at a cost that makes it scalable. So we need every discipline you can imagine in the world of design, development, manufacturing. We need it all.
Well, hopefully people watching this will be interested and put in an application. Like you said, do it anyway.
Yep.
Even if it doesn't look like there's a job that matches, there probably is. Well, I know you've got something coming up here, so I definitely appreciate you coming on today and talking about your experiences and what you wanted out of FIRST, and it sounds like it's happening.
It's happening. It's happening, but FIRST is one of those projects that we do that's big and important, solving a huge problem. This country, more than ever, needs more smart, young, technical people to solve the ever-expanding number of problems this country has, and the whole world needs more smart young people that also know how to work with each other on all the common issues that they're going to face. They're all going to be dealing with a world that's facing, environmental issues and food and water and cybersecurity and healthcare. So FIRST is really an answer to a lot of those issues. And I'm hoping that you and everybody involved there is going to help us grow FIRST faster and faster and faster. And Danielle, again, I hope we can count on you to make it loud.
Always, Dean.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see you at a FIRST Forward championship
very soon.
And maybe we can bring First Looks and set up in Houston and or Detroit and feature some more teams.
I thank you very much, and good luck to everybody, and I hope to see you all soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
And for those of you who are joining us live, there's a lot going on and a lot coming up. In the FIRST universe, here in Florida, the first Lego League State Championship starts tomorrow night. And our team is producing on the technical end. Michelle and I will be doing a lot of that stuff. It's super cool because almost the entire thing is happening in a virtual reality environment, which is bonkers and a ton of fun. It's been a lot of fun to work on, and we're looking forward to that. And then at AMROC, we've got it's the month of making. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and if Terry wants to come talk about some of the stuff that's coming up, I'll let her make click. Nope, I'll make click. Oop, there she is. I think you might be muted there, Terry.
So happy. That was awesome.
It's 2021. It happens. It happens.
Yeah, it is. That was a great interview. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. Yeah,
I like the response in the chat to the life is too short to waste time solving problems that aren't important.
Yeah.
There were one of the teams responded, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a great thing to keep in mind always, because we tend to get caught up in the minutia of things that aren't important. So yeah, I think that was great. I'm really grateful to Dean's time for coming on and chatting with both that Dahlia and with you guys today. He's an absolutely amazing individual. So yeah, we were talking about times we might be able to see him. Hopefully, some of us will at least get a glimpse of him in November. Hopefully, when he's here for the Florida Inventors Hall of Fame induction, which should be a lot of fun. And I can also announce Roboticon dates. We have gotten approval for our live Roboticon this year at the Yingling Center, and we're looking at October 9th and 10th. We don't have full details yet on whether there will be audience participation, but we can, we'll be putting more stuff out about that soon and can start accepting team registrations probably in another couple of weeks. But we're super excited to be able to have a live event, and we're going to come up with some fun stuff for first robotics competition. Yeah.
So happy.
Yeah.
It's been too long since everybody's been able to get together, and with the season wrapping up, now-ish, right?
Yeah.
In the way that it is, we might be one of the few in-person opportunities following up this season. So
yeah, I actually think there's going to be one at I forget what it's called. Space Coast Showdown, I think, is also going to be having a live event. I think they may be in October as well. So things are slowly coming back online. So that's exciting and fun. It's going to be great. So I just think this is terrific. Yeah.
I know we all miss in-person things, so this is definitely a big one for us.
Yeah, this is great. And thank you, Danielle, as always. You're an inspiration to other Team Duct Tape students and other students, and you show what can be done. And I think this is terrific. I'm glad you had a chance to speak with them and share some of your experiences and insights. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Terry. I was really excited to do this too. So.
It was great. And I think, it's easy to forget, Scott, being an alumni from the 1990s. It's like you're a vintage alumni.
Most of my buttons from those times have yellowed pretty heavily. So yes.
That's what we have to look forward to.
Yeah, when we first met up, I remember we reconnected on First, and you was like, "Oh wow, is it still going? Is there still good?" And you started talking about how you could bring in interns from First programs that you didn't really have to retrain. I always remember that. That you didn't have to show them how to use applications of programming. Yeah. So really good stuff there.
On two different fronts.
Yeah. Yeah, and even the communication skills you bring to it, to do first looks and the things you've done with Scott. And when you go to CES, you're bringing those skills that you got completely out of doing the, robotics presentations and things to judges and stuff. So it shows. It's really cool.
Thank you.
But, go ahead.
Oh, I definitely just wanted to say that I wanted to make sure Dean knew that a lot of its success from us students really comes from him and his vision and his mission. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing what he set out to do over 30 years ago, and he's doing it well, and that's why we're all here. So really super excited. I hope to see, folks share this around and grow programs. I really like to see more corporations get involved and do this. Lockheed Martin is incredible with the support that they provide to students and to teams, and the mentoring. Department of Defense does a fantastic job supporting and bringing mentors to the programs. And there are so many more companies that could be jumping in that need these students, and I won't name names this time, but I think that it's time to start pulling in more troops, right? And you want to hire great employees, and start putting some weight behind mentoring, and sponsoring teams in your area and growing these programs. I think that's a great way to build our future with a good, strong workforce.
For sure. And I'm the best people I've ever brought into any organization I've worked in have all been First people. So
So but thank you guys. That was great. And thank you to our viewers for checking in. And
yes, thank you.
And I think there's we got somebody excited about something down here.
About Roboticon. We have our MC.
Yep, awesome. Oh, I see who that is. Okay. Hi.
Brian.
Hi, Brian.
He's like, I'm ready. Let's do it. So.
All right. Well, thank you all. This is great. I'll let you guys wrap up, and thank you all for watching, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll keep promoting all the cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Terry.
All righty.
And to everybody who joined us live, we definitely appreciate that. We have a ton of other content. If you haven't been following along over the last year, Roboticon has expanded from just regular Roboticon Tampa Bay to our Roboticon Digital that we did last year. And it encompassed 2 full weeks and all of the programming, all of the interviews, because I conducted a ton of interviews with teams during that 2 weeks as well, are all still available on our YouTube page. Just search for Roboticon Tampa Bay. A lot of it's on Facebook as well. And when we go live on Twitch. So follow us on Roboticon Tampa Bay over there as well. And yes, can't wait to see you at Roboticon next year. This year, kind of, but yes, Roboticon 2021. Very excited. We got word just yesterday or the day before that we had the venue, and we figured this was the best time to make that announcement. So very excited. I can't wait to get back up into the mission control.
Same here.
It's been too long. It's weird to not have been at Yingling for as long as it's been.
I know.
So looking forward to that. But yeah, all of the content is still there. Our interview from last week with Dahlia and Dean is available there as well. So definitely check that out. And until next time, ciao.